Hey, welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. Chuck here. We have a list of 6 properties, so we still haven't seen that really strong push of inventory, but we've seen a lot of demand happen so far. So, cheers to that in my Charlton Advantage mug. There's a team of 10 of us. We work here on Bronte, and our purpose with Milton Daily Homes, we've been doing this almost 7 years now, has been to give you the kind of stuff that you don't see in the listings or may not be as noticeable, maybe development in the area, maybe just some things about the layout, and that's what we're going to do today. So I hope you enjoy it, and we're on episode probably 1500, 1600, something like that. I've lost track way back, and let's do this. Okay, first one up is 1010 Barclay Circle, and there's a couple tools that we have at our disposal that I think are really helpful to clients. First of all, it's memory. I remember this home listing 2 or 3 times in the past. We can look up full MLS history, including the old pictures for a place, so we can get a sense of the kind of things that people may have done or inherited from the previous owners. Now, the next thing we can do is we can look at the street, and because we do so much work in Milton, I can look at that and say that's a first generation Mattamy floor plan. It is called a Philgrove model. It's not a very popular model. For whatever reason, it's just not. So here's the Philgrove right here, and you can see how similar they look. It's actually a pretty good artist rendition. A lot of times they're not. So here's the plan. So what we know from being in this home so often is that you have kind of a formal dining room here. You've got a big great room, but the kitchen is actually quite narrow and there's not a big breakfast area. Now, I have had clients that have opened this area up and created almost like an island right here. They move the fridge over to this side and they end up with a completely different design, different look of home. Upstairs, you've got a big walk-in closet off the master, and then 2 somewhat smaller bedrooms too. So that's the kind of stuff that most people are going to skip a listing because, oh, well, it doesn't have photos, but we can look at previous history. We can maybe see what it looked like, a couple years ago when these people purchased it. And so there you go. That's some kind of detective work that we can do beforehand. So 790 Banks Crescent is $599,800. I think it's kind of been a glass ceiling for these townhouses, but if you look at what 1,800 square feet of townhouse should be selling for, I think there's an opportunity there where it's going to sell for more than 6. I think it's going to kind of crack that glass ceiling. The thing about this is one of those floor plans, just like I was talking about before, until you've seen it, it's very hard to kind of explain to somebody how it's laid out. But the 9-foot ceilings help. It actually feels a lot less like a townhouse. And here's the thing, like if you look at this, it's a very narrow space right here. It's long and narrow. So now you've got a TV in the corner, but how do you put your couch? And they've kind of done it like there's a small area right here, but then these guys are kind of out of touch with what's going on the TV. And the other thing I find with this floor plan, it's nice that it has pantry. It's nice that it has a nice big island, which are all things that in pictures look great. This is a very small table, and it's not big enough. Like, it's a 4-seater table. So if somebody had 6 or 8 people that they wanted to seat for dining, in this floor plan, it would be very difficult. So even though it's 1,900 square feet, to me, the floor plan still presents certain challenges for laying things out. And upstairs is good, bedrooms are nice sized, but I find the main floor is something that just really, it kind of chews at me. I look at it and I think, I don't know how I would lay this out. The 9-foot ceilings give the illusion of space, so if they stage it properly, sometimes people won't even notice it until they actually get in and start moving things around. So the last one up is 179 Lederman, and one of the big problems that we've seen people have, especially in the last 6 to 12 months, has been with parking. The town has cracked down on some parking issues, people parking on boulevards, that kind of thing. So when you read 3 parking spaces, sometimes agents put it in as including the garage, so you got to be really careful. Now this is the image right here. If this floor plan has a sidewalk in front, you really only have the space right here. you don't have any parking spot in front of this garage space. Now, because it's set up the way it is you can probably do 2 cars back to back, plus one over here, plus the cars in the garage. So you end up having 5 spaces, and when the garage sets forward like that, what it does is it creates a more open concept floor plan. So if you look at the pictures, you'll see that the way the floor plan is set up is you've got kitchen with an eat-in, plus a family room, plus a dining room. Typically, if the garage is kind of, if it's level, if it's not pushed forward, then what you find is you either lose this dining room, or you have a smaller kitchen, or you have an eat-in area that kind of transposes over here, and it ends up creating almost more of an L-shaped floor plan, whereas when the garage is forward, it's more of a square shape like we see right here. So it does have some advantages from a floor plan perspective. This stuff is kind of beside the garage with the garage access usually on the side here. It's a really nice floor plan. And you've got your center island, you can move it around. You've got, this particular home is a 4-bedroom. It also comes in a 3-bedroom plus a loft. And then there is a basement. Now it says finished basement and separate entrance. They were very clever when they said that because it's not really probably legal. So there are pros and cons of buying a basement apartment that does not have any legal status. I think the safe thing to do is to have a legal basement apartment. If you buy something that is not registered, legal, whatever you want to call it, and you end up with a problem, a tenant complains, there's a fire, any number of things happen, the maximum penalty under the fire code is $50,000. So it is very, the penalties are strict. Do people rent basement apartments that aren't legal and aren't approved by the town? All the time. Now, you weigh the pros and cons of doing that, with what could happen in the future. For me, I'm a peace of mind guy. I like when I don't need to worry about it, when I've done everything I can to make sure that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. So there we go. That's the list. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you back here tomorrow with more Milton Daily Homes.